Hi, thanks for watching my lesson. This is going to be a blues rhythm lesson with a rhythm based off of the early Fleetwood Mac era song called Rattlesnake Shake. So it's Peter Green era when they were bluesy as opposed to the Rumours, Lindsey Buckingham style. Kind of making it into just a more basic 12-bar structure. I think the song is pretty much that anyway, not entirely sure. But yeah, come over close up and we'll have a look how it goes. Thanks.
So this is another one of those lessons where I filmed the first part about a month ago and I've kind of forgotten what I did in the intro, so I've had to remind myself a little bit. But essentially this is a 12-bar blues in A straight blues, which is loosely based off of the early Fleetwood Mac song Rattlesnake Shake, which is a Peter Green written song. Brilliant song, really shows off his songwriting skills. Obviously his guitar playing is without question one of the best ever, certainly best blues ever, but also he was a great songwriter, and this is a really good example of that. But this lesson is more about just how to play a funky driving rock blues. So that's the kind of focus on it. So I'm not going to worry too much about being identical to the song. For those who are interested, the song, if you don't know it, is off of the 1968 or 69 album, Then Play On. Picture somewhere now probably. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So follows the 12-bar structure of 4 bars of the 1 chord, which in this case is an A, 2 bars of the 4 chord, which is a D, 2 more bars of the A chord, 1 bar of the 5th chord, which is an E, another of the D, which is the 4 chord again, and then our last 2 bars are both going to be on the 1 chord, which is the A. Those of you who are observant will notice that I'm not playing a chord as you would usually expect. I'm playing what's called an octave. So I'm just playing the 2 notes, 2 identical notes, but an octave apart. So the A chord is just an A here, which is the 5th fret of the low E string, and an A here, which is the 7th fret of the D string. D, we're moving everything down, and we've got 5th fret of the A string and 7th fret of the G string. And for the 5th chord, which is the E, we're sliding that up 2, and we've got the 7th fret of the A string and 9th fret of the G string. So A, D, D, E, E. Octaves apart. We're muting the string in between each time with our first finger. So A string's muted there, D string's muted there and there. When we are doing the D and the E, we are muting the low E string with the tip of our finger. Because really we want to hit as many strings as possible. We don't want to have to be too precise with this. And our first finger is going to be muting the higher strings as well as either your ring or your little, whichever you're using for the octave up. So I probably hold it, I kind of use my little finger, I use both, I mix them up. I use my little finger quite often. So mute, 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 mute. So mute, 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 mute. Just enables you to do more of that kind of full rhythmic strumming and get more stuck into it, I guess. So one other thing to note before I move on to the rhythm is that for each of these chords we're going to be hitting an open string at some point, and that open string is going to correspond to the 5th of the chord. What that means in real terms is that when we're playing the A, at one point we're going to hit the open E string, which is an E note, which is the 5th of A. When we're on the D, we're going to be hitting that open A string at one point, A being the 5th of D, the D chord. But when we're up on the 5th chord, the E, we can't do that. We can't hit the open A again because A is not the 5th of E. It would sound weird. So what we have to do is find a way to play the B note, which is the 7th fret on the E string. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Just thought I'd mention it now for the kind of theory part of it. So in terms of rhythm, you could just drive down 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Actually, I'll play the first 4 bars first so you can see what they sound like, how I'm playing them. So essentially I'm doing there is down, 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 down. Start again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3. So we've got 2 down strums, pretty much down strums all the way for this lesson. We're then doing a mute, and these mutes, where you put these mutes are what give it its kind of unique flavour. For the muting, you can either strike down whilst muting with the right hand, the fleshy part there, or you can strike down whilst gently lifting off the 2 fingers you're using, either your first and ring or first and little, or do both. But you want to strike down whilst they're muted. So 1 and 2 and 3 and then on that and after the 3 we hit the open string, which on the A chord is going to be the open E string. 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 for the 4 end we're going to slide, we're going to move down to a G octave, so 3rd fret on the E string, 5th fret on the D string, strike and slide back up to the A. So into the second bar, which is going to start with a mute. So that's our second bar. I'm not going to go into where the mutes are now. I'm just going to play it for you. Yeah, play it through a few times. So excuse the chainsaw outside. Hope you can't hear it too badly. So the second, third and fourth bar are all pretty much the same. So again from the beginning one more time. But experiment with those mutes, because you could just go and strip out most of them. In fact, you don't really need to do hardly any, so. Up to you. I like them. I think they sound better. Then we move on to the 5 and the 6 bars, which are our D chord. So that starts off exactly the same as the first bar, obviously a different chord. So open string is now the A. So from the 6th bar is where it gets interesting, so I'll come in from the 5th, so we've got so that was strum, mute, strum, then slide up, and we're sliding up to the E, so everything's going up 2 frets, so we're going from 5 to 7 on the A string, 7 to 9 on the G string. Strum, mute, strum, strum. Then play the D again. We're not going to slide it coming down, although you could if you wanted to. Then going to play a C, which is 3 on the A, 5 on the G. So back to the D. So yeah, I mean you can sound them sliding up and down in between. It's fine. So let's pull that together the first 6 bars. So we've got 7 and 8, back to the A chord, just repeat what we've done before. So that takes us to our 9th bar, which is where our turnaround starts. So we come up to the E chord. I'm going to put the 9, 10, 11, 12 bars together here. So we've done all of that before, apart from the E chord. So for the E chord, we're going to go. So strum, mute, 2 more strums. And then this is where we play our open string, but remember we can't do that for this chord, so we've got to play 7 on the B, 7th fret on the E string, sorry, which is a B note. Use your first finger or try and bring it from round, whatever makes the most sense to you. And then slide up from the D, so 5, 7, slide up back to 7, 9. Then move down to our D chord. Repeat the sliding move that we did on the 6th bar. And then just play again the A twice, what we've done before. So putting all of that together, from the beginning, we've got. That's it, that's most of it done. I'm going to quickly go over what I did for the second run through, which is just playing a little riff based off the first pattern of the minor pentatonic for each respective chord. So we start off with an A, we do a bit of A minor pentatonic pattern 1, and then for the 4 chord we come up and do it in the D shape for pattern 1 for D minor pentatonic, and so on. So essentially what it is going to be is this. And then you just mix it up, you start to do slightly change the order of which you're playing it, but mainly just double stops like that. So for the A chord we've got the A note on the 7th fret on the D string, then double stop 5 and 5 on the G and the D, G and the B, and then double stop 7 and 7 on the same strings, G and B, and then repeat those same 3 again, so, and this time come back down, so back to 5, 5, back to where we started on the 7th fret of the D, so really easy. And occasionally mix it up by going 7th fret on the D, double stop on the 5, 5, back to the 7th fret, and then go to the 7, 7, and then repeat that second bit. So really simple, mess around with that, that's your basic structure. I'll do that for the whole 12 bar as well, and tell you anything noteworthy. So when I'm doing it on the 4 chords, the D, basically start on the 12th fret of the D string, and our double stops are going to be on the 10 and the 10 of the G and the B, and 12, 12 of the G and the B. And then for the E, same principle, but everything's going to be slid up to 14 on the D string, 12, 12 on the G and the B, and 14 on the G and the B. So. the turnaround, we're only staying on the E and the D for half the amount of time as we have been previously. Yeah, mess around with that. I mean, the first part, the first run through was mainly what I was teaching here. This was just a little bonus. So I'm not going to go into too much detail, but if you've got any questions, let me know. I'm not sure if I'm doing a backing track for this one, but keep your eye out. I put different types of backing tracks on. For those of you who might have noticed, I put quite simple backing tracks to accompany a lesson, or I put quite thorough backing tracks with lots of diagrams and stuff and improvisation tips to play over, which don't necessarily relate to a lesson. Sometimes they do. So check out the channel if you haven't, and if that sounds like your sort of thing. Any questions or requests, let me know, and thank you very much. See you next time. Thanks.